Baja! welcome, guys. How are you? Welcome back. It's me, it's Hebot, your action figure enthusiast and video game aficionado. Welcome to another episode of Toys in My Closet. And today, I have for you, as you see right here in front of you, the brand new Masters of the Universe Revelations Netflix TV series by Kevin Smith action figure by Mattel, Spikor. And I got Spikor not because he's hitting retail shelves. No, that's not true. Not at all. I actually seen someone selling him in Macari, and then someone selling it on eBay, and they were actually selling it for $30 with shipping. So I was like, well, you know, they're $20 from retail with the tax, about $22. You know, you gotta weigh and pick it up. So I figured, hey, what the heck? Because from this wave, I'm only really interested in two figures, which is the Man at Arms and Spikor. And I said, all right. So I hit, the okay, and picked it up just to have them in hand a little faster to see how a figure from this wave would come out and how it would improve versus what the first wave had to offer. And then I thought about it, like, wow, I don't really think the Teela figure looks bad. Yes, she's different, but she could be Teela with a different outfit. Now that, especially that they announced that they're coming out with the Teela with the classic actual outfit. Definitely would want her, right? And then I seen Man at Arms look really cool. You had it for the same price. Then I saw one for a little bit more expensive because I pulled the trigger right away. So I ordered the Man at Arms. I didn't order the Teela. And then I was like, I don't like the Beastman at all, the way he looks for the new modern take. But it kind of clicked on me. I was like, well, wait a second, but Beastman is a race, right? There's more Beastman-like characters in the world of Eternia. Just not himself, the minion that works with Skeletor, Beastman, as we know him. So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick him up and use him maybe as a Build-A-Figure of the Beastman, race. Same thing with the Man at Arms, or the Merman rather, that they showed not too long ago in PowerCon as well. So I'm probably going to pick up two of those Beastmans to be part of a Build-A-Figure race, to be and coincide side by side with the Beastman of classics when they release them. Hopefully they will, right? So here you have them in the same window box, same aesthetic, same style. You guys should be familiar to this point with the box if you have them. I'll just bring him in a little closer. You can see what he looks like right there as far as his face. It says Spikor on the bottom. Here is the wonderful artwork. I think this is by Edmund still. The gentleman that, did all the other ones. He's been part of the He-Man community for many years in He-Man.org. You see his man, it says Multiverse there at the top. Spikor on the side. It says Untouchable Master of Evil Combat, and then the beautiful artwork as you see here in the back. See? And then the cross cells with the next, what would be the next potential wave. And there you have him there. So I've been part of the He-Man.org website, so shout outs to him because he's a great dude. He has a YouTube channel. He does a lot of reviews also for high-end collectibles, particularly Hot Toys, because that's his favorite. But he also gets the Mondo stuff early because he has friends that work there. And combatants of Combat Tribe, some of those, which I would love to get. Never got my hands on. So guys, let's take Spikor out of packaging and see what he has to offer. If it's good, if it's bad, sit back, relax, enjoy your digital drink, and hopefully you'll join me for the ride and till the end of the review to see if you like them. So I'll be right back. So here we have him, guys. Here is Spikor out of packaging. And here he is in all of his glory. And he looks very Spikor, obviously. And it's a nice touch and a nice update, to be honest. Because he looks very reminiscent to what he was shown and depicted in the cartoon. Which, for those of you who haven't watched it, he is basically Skeletor disguises himself as Spikor as a prisoner to try to kind of trick Sorceress and He-Man, or Sorceress rather, and then he reveals himself as Skeletor. But that's a whole other stuff and story. But he has that anime look, which the body looks lanky, chiseled, but kind of long, with the smaller, the smaller style of, animated head, if you will. So we're going to bring him closer up to the camera here, right? As you guys will see here, right? And let me see if I can get it focused. There you go. There you go. It's like you see there, he has really... Let me see, 1 second. Let me see if I can turn on the lights. Hold on. There you go. Much better. You can see the much more detail. The nostrils deep in. You get all the eyes with the cat eyes, kind of. And then his, teeth coming out. And it looks kind of yellowy on this one. To say the least. I believe in the original, it's more of a white color. You see his side profile, right? And he has the nice teal color, but without any sheen to it. And it looks very matte in color. Then the spikes look, kind of farther spread out, not all over the place. It's more of bigger, but kind of not so spread out. As you see, and they're much bigger, the spikes, with some small ones here and there, and then the back, as you see. He has more on the head. Then he has his red belt with the with that metallic sheen, and look to it, you can see that it looks almost like it has glitter inside of it. And I like the highlights of the red on it that look almost like a pink highlight. And then he has the cloth, the cloth, which you can see is much longer. It has some highlights of purple or blue in it instead of being shorter. In his crotch area, the back as well, and the legs. Obviously a little muscular. Same mold as they used on all the other ones. And the boots are the He-Man boots, with the top part looking purplish and black, as you see. And then, the band-aids around it, wrapped around, and the bottom of the boots. So, and the cufflinks are in that, teal color, but with a matte. And if you notice that the figure has two-sided human hands, which in the original vintage, he did not have that. Now, classics, he did have that, but you can change it and put in, the different trident that he had in the hand, because his feature was to have a magnetic type of trident built into his arm that would go elongated and stuff, and sometimes it would go in and out. That was his play feature, where it would get long or bigger. And in this one, he brings it, but it's already pre-molded. So, quick little story about Spikor with me is that Spikor became my favorite villain character, because when I collected him when I was younger, going with my mom or my dad to the store trying to look for these figures when I was very young, and they would go with me and take me whenever I had good grades or earned it, or did some special chores around the house. We would always go hunting and looking for them for a couple, particular hours, a couple hours in a particular day, And we went to a store in my local area that was called Toys, the number 4, and then the word all for everyone. And it was very exciting for me every time we went. But spikor took me a really, really, really long time to find them. And I remember one day when I finally walked in there, and there he was in the pegs, in the back of like 5 other figures, and I saw him in the corner of my eye, pulled him out, and I couldn't believe that I finally had spikor, because I liked the whole concept and idea that he had spikes. I liked that he had that purple color. He really stood out, because he's supposed to be like a porcupine type of animal man, right? And I always liked that, and it always stood out with me. As you know, you see the magenta purple on the arms and the legs, so he's like half human, half porcupine. And that was like the hardest figure I got that took me to find. And of course, I never found the last wave, which was like Ninjor, Squeeze, King, not King Randor, but Sorceress, Multibot, and it was someone else. I can't remember who else, but there was a couple that I never got, like Ninjor also was another one I never got. And I always looked and looked and looked and never found them. And by the time that either they were available or that they were out, either Masters was dying down on Mattel, and I was kind of going out of the toy situation or era in my life at that point, you know, getting involved with other things like music, singing, dancing, and stuff like that, like the house music, DJing, all kinds of stuff, you know, as you do when you progress, as you become an older teenager. So let's take a look at the accessories he came with. And what he does come with is not a lot, but he does bring a nice amount. And we'll start off with, he brings these 2 hands that are extra, which are fist hands, which is cool because they're fisticuffs. So you want to fight with his bare hands, and pose him like he's fighting with bare hands. Now you can't, because he brings fisticuffs, which is very cool. That's number 1. And then the other accessories that he brings are basically his traditional weapons. And in every iteration from 2000X to the new one, he's always had the same weapon, and that is his mace with the spikes in that orangey color, as you can see. Really, really nice. And it's nice and shiny, and it's molded. Very inspired by the original, but looking a little bit longer and a little bit more modern, and I would say a little bit more anime, right? Because like I said, these figures are a little bit more anime inspired as far as their design. Then last but not least, we have his built-in trident in his hands. And as you can see, it comes powered out. This electronic section of his hand. The peg is there, you peg in. And then this would protrude out and shoot out and get longer and will catch people. And as you can see here, the spikes on them are much longer than the originals. The originals are all the way down to this part here, like stubs. But it looked almost like a fork. And this looks kind of like a fork too, you know? But, you know, doesn't move, doesn't have any way to take it out. Doesn't come with a couple, one different ones, like one long, one shorter. So it's okay. And then it has this red paint on it. Painted really nice. And then this looks like a silver plastic with that, you know, swirly stuff in it. So, you know, that's what he comes with for the $20 that you pay. So not too bad, not too shabby. We'll just pan the camera out or back a little bit so you guys can see the accessories, like so, right there. And yeah, there you have it. There you have spikor and his accessories. So we'll be back and take a look at his articulation. And here we are. As far as his articulation goes, let's start off with his head. And his head goes left and he goes right. and then his head, he could look down a nice amount, and he could look up, well, a decent amount, and his head does shift forward and back with the peg, and then he has a little bit, teensy weensy bit of tilt. Not too much, but just enough, right? As you see right there, just enough. Right, and then his shoulders, obviously there's no butterfly, but they go up this much. He has the bicep swivel, then he has the double jointed elbows, which bend like so. He has the wrist peg, which spins, and then this hand goes in and out, right? But looks really nice and uniform. Right? Then he has the waist swivel. Now, because he has this, even though it's a nice softer plastic, you can't really utilize the ab crunch, but he has it in there. It is in there, and you can kind of tilt him side to side a little. Then he has the thigh swivel. And of course, he can split better than any Marvel figure, like Van Damme. And what you do is just kind of push up so it can close correctly. It's kind of got like the up and down movement of the G.I. Joe Classified, but a lot harder to do it. Then he has the double knee. Then you this way, and he has a boot cut. His foot can go just a little bit back, forward, and then he has the rocker. So there is spikor. There is spikor's articulation. Now let's take a look at some comparisons and spikor with his accessories and arm on. Now here we have spikor with the accessories, and he looks really, really cool. This kind of definitely completes the look of spikor. Now, the really cool thing, I guess, about this one that differentiates from every other one that has been made is that this one, since Mattel made it where you can actually remove, the hands on both sides, and he comes with, multiple hands as far as to switch out his arms, right, or his hands. You could actually put the spike Trident on that hand as well. But the vintage and the 2000X, that was supposed to be released and never was, and then now in the classics that came out, he only came with the interchangeable hand for the, regular side, the traditional side that we've always known. So, I mean, you can do it, and I guess I can show you kind of an example. And you see here, too, that this has the straps. You can remove this. This is a separate piece, which is a cool kind of continuation of what, Mattel's doing Matty collectors with the classics, and it continued on here. But you see, I removed it from here, and then I can kind of just pry this out, put it on this side, right? This is what I'm just trying to point out. Then he has another grip hand on the right, his what would be our right, his left, and then just put the mace on this hand. You see? And now we could definitely have him as spikor with, the other side. And still, it looks good, looks natural, and it looks like it's, you can't really tell, oh yeah, it's different, it's different than what it's supposed to be, especially with somebody new coming in collecting figures, because if they don't know vintage, right? If they don't know the vintage, they won't realize that, oh, that, like a little kid, let's say, they won't know that his hand was always with the mace Trident, or mechanical mace Trident, was always done on his left hand, which would be our right. So let's bring in the classic spikor for comparison, so we can see side by side what he looks like. And here we have it, guys. Here it is, spikor next to the classics. And as you can see, they're very much different, but in a lot of ways not different, you know, the same. In a lot of ways very much different. They're both supposed to be the 7-inch scale, but you can see that kind of one is lengthier and also tone, and the other one is very girthy and muscle tone, but a lot girthier. And as you can see here, that is one of the biggest differences is that I yellow out his eyes to make him look more menacing, because I didn't like the cat eyes look. And I think I might do that with him and try it out. And you see this one has a bunch more spikes on it. And then on the teal, it has like greenish metallic undertones to kind of give it a little bit more, oomph, or kind of like more of a, to stand out more, right? And then you see that the bracelets are now in that teal color. Here they are, they have that metallic dark purple to kind of give it a nice, more detailed look. And then the loincloth is now an actual shorter color, but with grays. And then the boots, for whatever reason, are brown. I don't remember if his boots in the vintage were brown, but you know, you see that he has another hand that came to give him both human hands. So the classics did interpret that as well. I don't know really, because it was like that also in the comics, and they wanted to give you the ability to give you posing options. But if you see them there side by side, he looks a lot more purple and magenta, and he looks a lot lighter and more matte, not as glossy and metallic as, you know, spikor from classics. And I have two of them, one I have sealed and one I have open, because you know, when they came out, I did the subscription thing every time to get the exclusive figure, but when they did them originally, you were able to buy them on a monthly basis. So when I saw they were getting so hot and you know, people wanted them really badly, I opted to buy a couple, like a duplicate, so in case if one broke, at least I had an extra one to kind of replace it. And I never in my mind was with the intentions to sell, resell, or anything like that. I never bought these figures to make, you know, money off of them or profitability. Collecting for me has always been about the love of the figures that you collect, not to resell for value. Of course, if you're old and retiring and you're dying or something like that, you want to sell it to leave the money with your wife, your kids, your grandkids, whatever, that's a different thing. But I'm talking about as far as us being alive and things of that nature. That's never really crossed my mind. So real quick, these NECA stands work really well for both Revelations and Classics, by the way. I like that. That's another cool thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can just pop off the hand and then put the actual spike on him that came with him, and then I'm going to put the mace on the other hand, so you guys can kind of see what I mean, and you can see what it looks like, and you'll see what I mean. And voila, here it is. As you see, there it is. He has the mace and then the spike, but you see that the spike is a shorter version. But then what they allowed you to do is you could take the front tip of this out or off and then replace it with a longer one to replicate the action feature in the vintage story where it slid in and slid out, which didn't hold well after years because it would just stay out all the time, you see? So it would get much longer for reach and distance when he did, you know, his spiking spiking attacks. So there you go. That's what it looked like. So I kind of wanted Mattel to do that with this one, to give us a elongated version to change it. Maybe down the road they could do one to add it on to, so that you can do it with an accessory pack or something like that. Yeah, there it is. Those are my only 2 spikors in hand that I have. They don't have an Origins one. And they don't have really another spikor either in Mega Constructs. They didn't make one yet with Loyal Subjects. They did make one with Funko Pops, but Funko Pops, that was when they first came out. Didn't buy them because I don't really have interest in them. And now it's going for like an astronomical crazy price. So the vintage, I never had either. But that's kind of like the only thing I have as far as representation of spikor. I do have a sealed classic one, like I said before. So let's do some more comparisons. And here we have them next to some other Masters classics, the Trinity of evil minions. As you can see, I also did the same thing to my trap jaw. If you guys noticed, I wanted to make him more menacing, so I yellowed out his eyes like so. I gotta touch up that other side a little bit because it's coming off, but I did it to him because I thought it looked cooler, and I did it to the Stinkor traditional eyes and traditional head, even though he has a newer head as well. I did it to him too. See what he looked like? I thought he looked cool to make him look more menacing. Not Triclops, his Triclops already had cool eyes and looked menacing, so the Triclops stays the same. But yeah, just to give you guys an idea of what type of alterations I'm willing to do, as far as I'm willing to go, because I don't really like to mess around with my figures, especially if they're expensive and hard to replace. But that's as far as I'm willing to go with them. Yeah, so there is a Revelation spikor looks like next to some classics. And here is spikor next to the other 2 villains available so far in this line, which is none other than Skeletor and Revelation's Evil-Lyn. And yes, this Evil-Lyn, I feel, goes more appropriately with the long hair and the sash because it's a different costume. But when they make the classic one, I will definitely keep her with that head. That looks amazing. And then, you have Skeletor there. So, moving right along. And here he is next to Revelation's Mossman and Revelation's He-Man. And if you notice, I'm using the stands, like I said. And I added the sash here on Mossman. That was included with the classics. Thanks to Jorge giving it to me because he bought a Mossman and didn't like it with the sash. Because I wanted to give him more of a 2000X look mixed and amalgamated with the Revelations. I think he looks really cool, plus the base. So, yes, I do have the entire first wave. I just didn't review it because too many people had them. So I figured, why the heck not? Let me do spikor, since a lot of people haven't done reviews on them because they don't have them. And start from there, right? And see what I can do. And see if you guys like my review. So, there it is next to He-Man and Revelation's Mossman. You see they scale up very well. They look nice together, so not bad. And here is spikor next to NECA's Defenders of the Earth, the Phantom, and also the Dragon Ball Super Dragon Star Master Roshi. And there you go, side by side. I kind of like the contrast with purple on purple, with purple characters, which is pretty cool. But that's what he looks like. So far, so good. And let's do maybe one more comparison. And here he is next to the Master of the Universe Revelations Skeleton, which is a lot bigger figure, and obviously the I believe is the Dark Knight McFarlane Toys Armored Batman from the Frank Miller animation and comic. And you see these figures are a lot bulkier in size, and next to spikor looks a little bit skinnier and smaller, obviously. Next to him, let's put another girthy character here real quick, just so you guys can get an idea. Here is or on this side, right? Let's do it this side. Here is the Conan the Barbarian Super 7 Arnold Schwarzenegger, that, posable sword posing Arnold, right? This huge sword, and there you see, you kind of get an idea of what they look like all side by side. There you go, right there. Pow. These are all girthier and bigger figures as far as the size and girth, even though Arnold looks smaller next to him. So yeah, that's pretty much my comparison. So now let me give you my closing thoughts and finish the review, and let you know what I think about the figure. Okay guys, and in my closing thoughts, I come to the end of my review, or my version of the review, right? Spikor, as far as the aesthetics, as far as the continuity of how the figure looks like and feels like, in comparison to the first wave, the continuation of quality is still there. The paint work is there. These feel to have joints a lot more tighter. I think that Mattel, with time, they're just going to improve on these figures if they continue to sell well. Because obviously, if Revelations doesn't continue to grow and doesn't have another season or seasons to go more in depth with characters, story, and lore, we might not see all the characters. Now, if the figures sell off the shelves, then yeah, perhaps a possibility that they will still make them and manufacture them, which I'm crossing my fingers and I hope that's what they do. So I would love to at least see all the original vintage characters in Revelation style and form to see what they look like, right? Including whatever new characters they're introducing, because they can go deep and make more figures and make more money, and it's pretty cool. Like even the black version of King Grayskull looks pretty dope in that style, like in that aesthetic of the figure. It looks good. So I recommend them. Obviously, when you see them in the shelves, definitely. I was just a little impatient because, like I said, I had a really nice fond memory of him because he became my favorite villain, because he was the hardest figure for me to find, and he was probably one of the last that I was able to get. I had the entire collection, from the vehicles, the steeds, animals, right? In other words, castles, playsets, everything. I had everything, from the slime pit to whatever was available. Blaster Hawk, Fright Fighter, Monstroid, all of it. Even Castle Eternia. And my parents got heavily into religion, and my father, which was my stepfather, obviously, at that time, he, just because of the religious beliefs and stuff, which I do respect, I understand now that I'm older, I get it. It wasn't nothing malicious, it was just part of the belief, right? That these figures, because they look kind of evil and, demonic and frightening, that they are a representation of like evil spirits and demons, and because we idolize them by liking them, that bad spirits could hide behind them and things of that nature. It's just a religious thing, and I respect that because I am religious, but I don't know if God would be so I don't want to use the word petty, but would be so inclined to punish anyone because, you know, they like to figure that it's a toy and just makes us feel happy. Or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I hope not, because I really love toys, right? But either way, I recommend them. They should be coming out in the store soon. And yeah, I think it's a really good interpretation of the Revelations, still keeping the respect and aesthetics of the vintage, right? Modern with the new. But these figures, I do have to say, look much, much better in person than they do in photos or in those promotional pics. That's what I've noticed so far to this point. So guys, give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it, the review. Share it with someone you think might like it. And as always, for all those that continue to support my channel, thank you so much, because without you, my channel will not and could not be sustained and would not have, you know, wouldn't be anything. And if you're new to the channel and like what I do, thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you subscribed, you know, I know you didn't have to, so it means the world to me. And since you did, I just want you to know I consider you now part of my family. So, guys, I'm on social media if you want to check me out. On Instagram under C_respect. I'm on Twitter as well. I'll give my information soon. And I'm also on you know, other venues like Xbox Live and the Nintendo Switch, which I'm under Hebot 8, and obviously on PlayStation Network under Alpha from Sky. If you guys ever want me to review anything, you want to donate anything for me to review, highlight, and showcase on my channel, it would be a pleasure. It would be an honor to do so. Just hit me up in one of the DMs there in those social or online networks, and I'll, you know, message me and we'll work out the particulars. And if you guys ever want to help me out in any way, shape, or form directly to help my channel, to help it grow and get better and keep doing content with quality and more premium, you know, content with products, you know, there is a way you can do so. Only if you want to, if you have the means to, and if you want to do it from the kindness of your heart. It's not obligated, obviously. It's all down in the description below with my PayPal and with my, what you call it, my Patreon, that page that I opened. You can do it that way. So, guys, it's your boy Hebot signing off. Love you very much. Hope to see you in the next one. This is me signing off in another episode of Toys in My Closet. And real quick, a little sneak peek for you guys. Let's see. Wait a second. My next review will be, and that's as far as I'm going to show you. Whoop. That's it. There you go. Sneak peek. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.